All right, good everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. Welcome back. I am the Sarge. Welcome back to the Sports Compound. I hope everyone's having a good day. And man, we got a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about. One of the things that we need to talk about, the MLB baseball. Yes, spring trading started last week. I was watching the Mariners go against the Dodgers, and it was great to see that. And there were some free agency signings that happened during that time. Also, because let's talk about Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant, he was looking for a team to go somewhere, but guess what? Now he is with the Colorado Rockies. He signed a 7-year deal for $185 million, but will the Rockies actually win? I don't think so, because this actually kind of reminds me of the time that Robinson Cano signed with the Seattle Mariners or was traded for he had over a $200 million contract and so forth. And what did he get? He got suspended. So that's what happens with that. You get suspended. So the Mariners are out of the Chris Bryant, but they did get Winker from the Reds, which brings some pop offense to that team as well. But sadly enough, as of today, the relief pitcher Sadler, he is out with a shoulder injury for the rest of the year. He's going to have season-ending injury with that. Next up, we have Corora, who went to the Twins. That was kind of a surprise because what did the Twins actually do? I mean, why would he go to the Twins? I'm with Jose Altuve that is with this. Surprised. What was the point of going to the Twins? Is there something that we don't know? But he signed a $105 million 3-year deal with the Twins. So at least the Twins got some positive news out of that with that one right there. And Brandon, welcome to the Sports Compound. And you know what? I'm excited for the Seattle team with that. I'm saying that right here that the Mariners are actually going to make it into the playoffs this year. They got 3 good starting rotation pitchers there with Marco Gonzalez. We got Robbie Ray and also Jeff Sheffield as well right there. So, but with that, we got Trevor Story also. I mean, I was hoping that the Mariners would actually sign Trevor Story since Chris Bryant was off the table, and I was kind of happy that Chris Bryant is off the table because Trevor Story, I kind of like his story. But that story did not happen because that story actually went to the Boston Red Sox, but that's okay. It is what it is. But like I said, the Mariners will make it to the playoffs this year. I said it last year. It came really close. Welcome, Gordon. You were saying that it seems like played for interested is getting paid and not champions. That is true, but money talks. That's all I have to say about that one. Money talks if you're a pro athlete. Look at Mike Trout for all. He's with the Anaheim Angels, and what have they done with him being on that team? They haven't even barely make it to the playoffs. I mean, I don't think they're going to make it to the playoffs again. So that's my take with the MLB. And Brandon's asking, what Seattle team bringing home a title first? Hockey, MLB, NFL, or so to be NBA team? If I have a choice, Brandon, it's going to be the NFL or NBA or the WNBA. Don't forget that Seattle Storm is here as well. So don't forget about that right there. So, and they actually won the title a couple of times. So at least Seattle has something, but the women's sports is always underrated and doesn't get talked much, which frustrates me the most because it's sometimes the women's teams are like the better team. Look at the U.S. soccer team; they're better than the men's soccer team. They actually won the what is it called? They actually won that the cup once before, and also won the gold medal and so forth. And with the Seattle hockey team, I mean, it's awesome that they're here. I love the name, the Kraken. You cannot beat the Kraken, but there's no magic from what they did from what the Las Vegas Knights did when they were actually an expansion team and so forth. But other than that, so I just, again, welcome back to the Sports Compound. But in craziness, the NFL is more busy than the MLB. I can't believe what is going on happened with Russell Wilson going to the Broncos. Now we had a big trade with the Atlanta Falcons trading Matt Ryan to the Indianapolis Colts to reach it, and the Falcons reached a 2-year deal with Marcus Mariota. So this was a good trade for the Colts. The Colts have had a different starting quarterback for the last 7 years. It has not been the same person. I thought Carson Wentz was going to be the person, but he was not the person, it turns out. But you're bringing Matty Ice into the picture, and with that, you're giving him Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. Same with Hines as well. You got Michael Pittman, you got Campbell as your 1 and 2 receivers, and you got one of up-and-coming tight ends, Mo Ali Cox, that he's up and coming. He's not there yet, but he's up and coming. And we know what the Colts can do on the defensive side. So expect the NFC South going to be a clash between the Titans and the Colts. And yes, I said that. With the Houston Texans in that same area, you can say that they're out because they don't have a quarterback because Watson's now a Brown. And now where's Baker Mayfield going to go? From what I'm hearing, he has a chance to go to the Seattle Seahawks. There's been a lot of talk about him bringing here because the Seahawks, they actually have a lot of draft picks that they can actually use as bargaining chips to get somebody. But like last year, the Seahawks only had 3 picks. So I can see that the Seahawks going all in with their picks and just, go back to 3 picks again. So Christy Wilson saying, I hope Matt Ryan does well for the Colts. Maybe the change of scenery will do him good. I think it will do him good. I agree with you right there, Christy, because, with Atlanta, you were good for so long. You can't make it back to the promised land back when you got destroyed by the Patriots in 1 half. So I expect Matty Ice to do very well with the Colts right there. Also, in NFL news, Jameis Winston. You guys can mock me all you want about Jameis Winston and so forth. But he resigned with the New Orleans Saints. The reason that this is kind of big is because we all know what his turnover rates are. But when he was starting for the Saints, his touchdown ratio and interceptions was 14 touchdowns and 3 interceptions in 7 games. He was going on to be backup player of the year or of the decade at least because, that 30-30 vision, you can't help that because that actually kind of ruined his stock to get signed anywhere else. But now he proved himself that he's actually can be a good quarterback staying behind Drew Brees during that time with that. So I'm actually excited for Jameis Winston that he's back. Let's see if he can produce without Peyton being at the helm with the Saints. Let's see if he can have that same success. And we got my Carolina Panthers. Where are they going to be? I don't know because they do not have a quarterback. Yeah, you can say that Cam Newton's still out there for the Carolina Panthers. You can say that Sam Darnold is still out there. But, again, Cam Newton was benched I don't know how many times last year. Then Sam Darnold, he was benched as well. So, with that, I don't know what's going to happen with the Carolina Panthers. We're getting to almost that halfway time there, and I think with that being said, we're going to play a couple of ads just really quick, and we'll be right back. So, Chris, if you can get those ads going, that would be great.
K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
K&A Custom Crafts, believe it or not, they actually make some good products. If you have a logo that you want on a cup or on a shirt or keychains or whatnot, K&A Custom Crafts will be able to get that done for you. Just go to their Facebook page, K&A Custom Crafts, and you know what? you can actually see what they have done. They made out some pretty awesome quilts. I'm not a quilt guy, but they made some pretty awesome quilts, and I'm just amazed by that. So, with that being said, we did cover a little bit of the MLB and the NFL because the NFL is going nuts with everything else. With all that being said, it is March Madness. I don't know how many brackets everyone has made. For once in my entire life, I only made one bracket for the men's Final Four. I usually have 5, but this year I was going to go all in or nothing. I'm just going to do one. I'm going to see what all the experts are saying and everything else. And one thing is about March Madness, they don't care about what the experts say, because you got Baylor being duped by the North Carolina Tar Heels. Yay for my team, right? 93-86 in the second round. So I had them going to the Final Four. I didn't have them winning it, but I had them going to the Final Four. But with that being said, Gonzaga, they had a little troubles on that first round against the Georgia State, because Georgia State was up by 5 points early in the game. Then all of a sudden, in the second half, Gonzaga came back and they do what Gonzaga does. They scored a lot of points. But they played against Memphis in that second round and only won by 4 points. And now they're going up against Arkansas on Thursday. And I have a hard time saying that Gonzaga is actually going to win it, because everyone says every single year, almost in the last 5 years, oh, Gonzaga is going to win it. The Zags are going to win. It's all about Timmy, which is an awesome last name, by the way. But I had never had faith in Gonzaga going all the way with that one. With this year, I still have no faith with Gonzaga going in all year, because I have in my Final Four Duke, Baylor, which is out, Iowa, which is another team I thought was going to make some noise in the tournament, got beat by Richmond. And lastly, Villanova. And Christy, I saw that you posted their goal, Villanova, and I have them in the Final Four with the Duke Blue Devils winning it 67-61. That's who I'm choosing to win in the men's side of the things. Who is a Cinderella of this year's March Madness? It has to go to the St. Peter's. St. Peter's, they beat Kentucky 85-79. They beat Murray State 70-60. Now they have a tremendous task in the Sweet 16 to go up against a Purdue team that was ranked number 1 throughout the season a couple of times. So I think this Cinderella's team is done for. With that being said, we're going to go over to the Women's Tournament Challenge. Also, I like the ESPN bracket. It fills out so nice with that one. With that, again, Iowa. The Lady Iowa, they lose again against Creighton in the second round, and so I at least had them going to at least the Elite Eight with that one. But who is our Cinderella team in the women's side of the bracket? It's hard to tell, because when you go to the women's side of March Madness or college basketball, it's dominant. If you're the 1 through 25 team, you're definitely 1 through 25. But this year, we actually have a Cinderella as South Dakota. You heard that right. South Dakota beat Ole Miss in the first round. They beat Baylor 61-47, and now they're going to go up against the Lady Wildcats of Villanova or the Lady Wolverines from Michigan. So keep your eye out for South Dakota in the Wichita region of that tournament. And with my Final Four, I got South Carolina, who is playing right now. Or they're not playing right now. That was my bad. That was North Carolina State, who was playing earlier today. Then I have Louisville. Then I got Stanford versus UConn, and I got Stanford being South Carolina 65-64. I picked Stanford last year, and I actually won, so that was awesome with that. So with that being said, we had a lot of news happening in the NFL. I don't know if there's any more news that has happened since I've talked. Oh, we could also talk about Troy Aikman. He is now over at ESPN with Joe Buck on Monday Night Football. I still ain't not gonna watch it because know why? Because I like the Manning cast better. It's more real than the real cast. So I kind of want to go back on the Atlanta Falcons in the NFL right here with the Matty Ice trade. Who won this trade? It is the Indianapolis Colts who won this trade because not the fact that they got Matty Ice and it was actually a good trade for a third round pick, but they don't have dead money they have to deal with what the Atlanta Hawks have to. With Matt Ryan going over to the Colts, he is $40 million in dead cap space. This brings the Atlanta Falcons dead money space up to $60 million because of a Julio Jones trade on their books. With that being said, you cannot rebuild this year. You won't be able to rebuild next year. So it's going to take 3 years before the Atlanta Falcons can actually start an actual rebuilding process with that. $60 million in dead cap? I mean, that's just like turning on, like starting a fire in the fire pit and just throwing the money in there. But I guess that's what the Falcons do. I mean, it's like out their Super Bowl run. They threw the second half in the fire. But that's me. But if you're still watching here, just shoot out your comments or questions, and I'll try to answer as much as I can with that. With that being said, we do have a ladies tournament game going on. We got NC State versus Kansas State right now. Right now, NC State is dominating Kansas State 85-55. And what's great about the women's basketball, it's actually a 4-quarter sport, which is pretty cool. As the men's, it's 2 halves. That's pretty cool. And Gordon Fielder says that's a good portion of the cap, and that is true. And he's talking about the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know who the Falcons can sign. They got Marcus Mariota, but he's with the but he went there because Arthur Smith is their coach, and Arthur Smith was their offensive coordinator during their time in Tennessee. So we'll see. But in baseball news right now, we got the Mariners. The reason I say the Mariners a lot because that's my team, and I don't care. But the Mariners right now, they're losing against the Diamondbacks 6-1. Speaking of the Mariners in the Pacific Northwest and ESPN as well, everyone lost a legend. John Clayton, he passed away over the weekend at the age of 67. He was like one of the best analysts that were out there in the football world. He started in Pittsburgh. Then he followed the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then he came over to the Pacific Northwest and has been following the Seahawks ever since. But you'll definitely recognize him on ESPN during this, I believe it was called 4 Downs, where analysts try to go against him, and he just demolished them because they called him the professor because he knows what he's talking about. Also, you can never forget the time that This Is Sports Center, the ESPN commercials that they're running, that he was there. He was done with his segment. Then all of a sudden, this hard rock comes on. He lets down his hair. He has hair like me. And all of a sudden, he has like a ponytail and everything else, ripped off his sleeves and everything else, and was rocking out and yells out to his mom, "Mom, done with my segment." And that has been an iconic commercial for ESPN ever since that has happened. And John Clayton, may you rest in peace. And I miss your 4 p.m. Analysts every day here in the Pacific Northwest on 710 ESPN radio with that. With that being said, we got big things coming on the Coast to Coast Network. Yes, starting next month, we got the Women's Football Association, and we'll be streaming that live. You heard that right. We have football on this network, and we'll be streaming it live. And it is ladies going against ladies. They're going to be tackling each other. It is going to be awesome. Enjoy it. I'm going to try to go down there and actually try to stream as well. And I know J-Mac, the bearded one, he's going to be there, be the main person doing all that streaming and stuff. So J-Mac, thank you very much for all your help with that. So if you guys want to follow the Oregon Cougars, and no, they're not the Lady Cougars who I'm thinking about, but they're Oregon Cougars, of course. and check it out. It is kind of cool because I didn't realize this was a bigger league than I thought. It's all over the map and so forth. So check that out here on a Coast to Coast network. With that being said, thank you for coming on. Thank you for commenting. Brandon, Gordon, Christy, thank you again. Chris in the background, thank you. I am the Sarge. This is the Sports Compound. Sarge out.